All right, tell me if I have this right. You got a new puppy in your home, you gave her a few weeks to settle in and let her decompress from the big change. And now, you're ready to get busy on the training. Is that where you're at? Or maybe you've already begun the training, but you hit a few bumps. Well, if you relate to either or both of those, you're going to discover a ton of great info from this week's video. I've got 8 amazing tips for you on how to make training sessions the best they can be. But wait, I need to give you a tiny pep talk before I start on these tips. I want you to have patience with yourself. You are learning a new language, and you're teaching a puppy a new language too. That's a lot of new. Humans aren't necessarily good at dog training naturally because we don't think the same way dogs do. But thankfully, dog training is easy to learn if you have a good guide and you go in the right order. This is why I suggest you start with the easy games. In my online course, Module 1 is filled with fun stuff like crate games, leash games, and everyone's favorite, Bump It. These are easy to teach and easy for the pup to learn, and it gets both of you guys off on the right foot. Just like with all training, keep your patience high and your expectations low, and reach out to us if you need more help. All right, let's go into these 8 tips. Tip number 1, environment. You want to make sure the environment is really calm and quiet when you're training. When you're first teaching your pup new things, anything in the environment could be distracting. Now, it may seem ho-hum to you, but any kind of noise could derail your training. I'm talking about dishwashers and TVs and music and kids playing and definitely other animals or kids or smells like yummy cooking in the kitchen. Now those things can be added in when your training is ready to proof, which means you're ready to make it harder. But at first, keep it super calm. And I want you to start inside for this because the outside world is so distracting. Tip number 2, mechanics. And when I say mechanics, I'm referring to things like body posture, the value of the treat, the timing of the delivery, and even basic things like which hand you delivered the treat from. Now, a few weeks ago, I was on a Zoom call with one of our pro-level students. We were reviewing a training video submitted by Sandy, who was working on figure 8s with Butler. Now, this is a fun game that actually helps with leash skills. Sandy said that Butler kept losing interest in the game and she needed some suggestions. We talked about a few things, including letting Butler get out some sniffing in the driveway before working on the game, and also delivering the treat from the other hand. Now, I also suggested that she speed up her reward to be a little more rapid fire for Butler's fast puppy brain. Sandy implemented these suggestions, and in a few days, she reported back that she and Butler had a great training session. Yes! This is the stuff I love to hear. All right, sometimes a few simple adjustments really just make all the difference. All right, let's move on to tip number 3. Pushing too far or training for too long. Now, most humans have expectations that are a little too high for training when first starting out. This is natural. After all, we know what we want the dog to do. The problem is that your dog has no idea what you're teaching or what the finish skill is going to look like. This is like teaching a small child to do a cartwheel when you don't speak the same language. And you really simply have to work through some kind of common body language until the child does the thing you want. And then you celebrate. We often talk to our students about breaking down these training sessions into itty-bitty pieces, sometimes 1 to 3 minutes long. It's much better to spend 30 minutes training in 1 to 2 minute increments rather than 2 long sessions of 15 minutes each. Your puppy just doesn't have a very long attention span, so keep it short and sweet. Always end with some play, which helps with retention. And the next training session should actually start a few steps back in the process as a warm-up. Tip number 4. Where are you on the schedule? The next time you're about to do a training session, ask yourself if it's the right time in your dog's schedule for some learning. Dogs have wake windows, which is about how long they can and should be awake based on their age, until their next nap. Usually I find that training is best when they're in the middle of that wake window. And at the beginning of the window, when they have tons of energy, it's better for some play. And at the end of the wake window, it's best to do some enrichment and a cool down. The middle is great for the training. Now you'll know it when you're there, and you'll also notice it when you're at the wrong point in the schedule to do the training. And if you're at the wrong time, don't push through and try to make it work. Just end the session and try again at a better time. Now, if you're struggling with the schedule, my new mini course might be just what you need. Are you picking up all of what I'm putting down? Are you enjoying these awesome practical tips? We work hard to put these videos together for you each week, so if you want to show your appreciation, please subscribe and share this video with a friend. And you can consider giving us a super thanks as a show of love and support. All right, here we go with tip number 5. Motivation. Now, I want you to evaluate if you're giving your dog the proper motivation to do the task. If this is an easy task like sit or focus, a few pieces of kibble should do. If this is a harder task like recall, leave it, or stay, you're gonna have to increase that value to something just a little bit more yummy. Now, this is also a case for how quickly to reward. Like I was advising Sandy with Butler, the harder the task, the more quickly you're gonna wanna reward it first. And as the dog gets good at the skill, you can build in more time between rewards. Moving on to tip number 6, too much energy. We saw this with Sandy and Butler. He wasn't ready to start the training sessions in the driveway because he was too distracted and he had to let some energy out. He wanted to sniff the driveway. Sandy didn't realize this at first because the driveway seems like the least interesting thing ever, but Butler disagreed. Now, when Sandy allowed him the little warm-up time to sniff the driveway before training, everything worked better. You might need a short session of fetch, or a decompression walk, or maybe a fun game of chase the human in the backyard before your pup is ready to train. Alright, tip number 7. Watch for signs that your dog is confused and adjust accordingly. Dogs often fail to comply with your request, not because they decide they don't want to, but because they don't know what you're asking. So the next time your training isn't going as planned, ask yourself if your dog really understands what you're teaching. You might have to go back a step or two and help them understand better. There's nothing worse than trying to learn something new and information just keeps piling up before you even had a chance to grasp the initial info. Am I right? Going back a step is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. This is often an indicator that you need to work on tip number 3 that I mentioned at the beginning. You know, the one where I mentioned you're pushing too hard or pushing too fast. All right, here comes tip number 8. Remember that your dog is not stubborn. They simply don't have the capacity to have some motivation to not do what you're asking. If they aren't doing it, it's because they aren't motivated properly, they don't know what you want them to do, or they're just too distracted to comply. Take a look at all of those factors and adjust them before asking for the skill or that cue again. In this video on Beagles, I describe how Beagles are often labeled stubborn because they do not listen to their humans, especially when it comes to things like recall. Beagles are not stubborn. They are distracted. Those noses are so good at interpreting all the smells. They simply are too busy learning all the new things and can't listen. So the next time you think your dog is being stubborn, evaluate if he's distracted instead. Did you notice how training is a lot of trial and error? You work on the games, you note your dog's body language and compliance level, you adjust and you repeat. And if it's not going so well, then you call in a professional like me. And if you think you can work on training alone, you might like the DIY level of my online course. You get all the training games to work on things like sit and stay, and come, and leash skills and manners and more. And there's no expiration date. But if you want some extra help and you want to submit training videos or feedback like Sandy did, then you will love the pro level for that. Either way, if you're struggling, reach out and let us help you. In the comments below, I'd love to hear how your training is going. And did you recognize any of these tips that you can adjust for better results? This is your favorite dog trainer, Michelle Lennon, signing off until next time.